Today we are talking about one of the most common and destructive symptoms that victims struggle with who are trying to recover from narcissistic abuse and the complex trauma that results from the abuse. Today we're talking about the ruminating thoughts we have about the trauma and techniques to overcome them. So first, let me explain what rumination means, or ruminating thoughts. Ruminations, or ruminating, simply means we are thinking about the same things over and over and over. People who have been exposed to long-term narcissistic abuse have suffered a very real and substantial trauma. Ruminating thoughts are a consequence of experiencing trauma. So ruminating thoughts tend to be intrusive and all-consuming, and they are very, very hard to stop. On top of that, each time we have the same thought, it fortifies a neural pathway in our brains. The more we have the same thought, the stronger and more pronounced the pathway in the brain becomes. And what ends up happening is the ruminating thoughts we are having become the strongest pathways in the brain. Therefore, they can become, many times, do become the only thoughts we have, simply because you have had it over and over and over. And the reality is, when you are ruminating about the trauma you have lived through, it can become the only thing that you think about simply because you have thought about it repetitively. Take it from me. I ruminated for 3 years, only I didn't know that it was a consequence of my trauma, nor did I understand they were destructive, nor did I know that I could start to replace those thoughts with different thoughts, and I would slowly start to build new pathways in my brain that would facilitate a new way of thinking. The reality is, when you are ruminating about the trauma over and over and over, you are re-traumatizing yourself each time you think about it. You can continue to traumatize yourself just by thinking about it. And God knows that's the last thing that victims of narcissistic abuse need. The good news is the brain has the capacity of something called neuroplasticity, which means that the brain can form new connections and pathways and change how it's wired. So today, I'm going to give you some of the techniques that I used in order to stop my ruminating thoughts and change my brain's wiring from the trauma to happiness. If you are new to this channel, I'd like to take a moment and welcome you and invite you to please subscribe and be sure and hit that notification bell because I put out new videos every week. Also, if you are interested in private one-on-one narcissistic abuse recovery coaching with me, please visit my website. It's linked in the description below. Okay, so today I'm going to give you some simple techniques that you can use in order to help you stop ruminating and get your mind off the trauma, off the past, and onto the present and the future. And the first one is learning how to pick and choose your thoughts. You must learn that you have the power to pick and choose your thoughts every bit as much as you would your words or your actions or even the clothes you pick out every day. A lot of times people don't understand that they have a choice in the thoughts that they have, but we do. We have the power to pick and choose the thoughts we have. And although it's hard, specifically for victims of trauma, with practice, you can get very good at selecting the thoughts that you want to have and that are productive to your healing. Next, meditation and affirmations can be very effective at silencing the ruminations about the trauma. I also like the idea of thinking of a new life mantra. These things are effective tools to for getting the focus out of the past, off of the thoughts associated with the narcissist and onto the present and the future and this new and exciting chapter of your life, narcissist-free. It's also an incredible effective tool at changing our subconscious program and paradigm. If you have been abused by a narcissist for years, then your subconscious program is likely telling you abusive and hurtful things that the narcissist pounded into your head. So we must change that program, and using guided meditations, affirmations, and a new exciting life mantra can be incredibly beneficial to accomplish this. The subconscious mind does not learn the way the conscious mind learns. The subconscious mind learns and accepts information through repetition. So you must do these things religiously to see the results. But if you commit to it, in about 2 months, you will see a shift in the way you are treating yourself, your attitude, and your outlook on life. Another effective tool for silencing ruminating thoughts are to use grounding techniques that anchor the mind and the body in the present moment. Sometimes I found it so difficult to stop ruminating. I would do something that shocked my system. So many times I would jump into a cold shower. I would put ice cubes in my hands, jump up and down, exercise or take a long walk, do some deep breathing exercises. All of these things can be effective at transitioning your thoughts from the past to the present. Another thing that I did that I found incredibly helpful to help stop my ruminations is making a bucket list. And I really spent some time on this. For those of you who don't know what a bucket list is, it's a list of things that you want to do or accomplish before you die. I encourage anyone who is struggling with the pain of ruminations to make a detailed bucket list, because once that's done, you can start focusing on all the things you want to do. Start making plans and daydreaming about how amazing all of the things are going to be. The bucket list is so effective at getting your focus off of the narcissist and onto you where it needs to be. Thinking about all of the things you want to do and how you will accomplish them is incredibly productive and will help promote your healing. Next, one simple thing that I did to help me overpower my ruminations is I put a rubber band around my wrist, and each time I caught myself ruminating or thinking about anything that was not productive and helpful to my healing, I would give myself a pop. It may sound silly and rather elementary, but it's very effective. So for example, when I would catch myself ruminating, I would give myself a pop and transition my focus onto my new mantra, the affirmations I had been doing, or onto my bucket list and all the amazing things that I want to do. Another very powerful and productive tool that we can use to silence the ruminations and promote your healing is intentionally practicing gratitude. Now, I realize that might sound rather difficult to do, considering most of us have been terribly harmed by the narcissist. Many times we lose everything we have ever cared about, and we have been abused so severely that our self-esteem has been demolished. I'm including myself in that group. I lost everything I owned. My savings, my home, my only child was severely alienated from me, which nearly killed me, and my life had been destroyed. So learning to practice gratitude in those circumstances is certainly not easy. But if we want to heal, we must find ways to shift our focus from all of the things that we've lost onto all of the things that we have to be grateful for. And even in the worst circumstances, you can find things to be grateful for. For example, you may have to start with things like, I'm grateful I'm alive. I'm grateful I survived what was meant to kill me. I'm grateful that I have my health and my sanity. When you shift your focus and your thoughts onto what you have to be grateful for, you will start to attract more things you can be grateful for. I can't stress this enough, how transitioning your thoughts and focus onto an attitude of gratitude will be for your healing. Some other amazing tools you can use to start promoting your healing is getting into yoga or exercising. Trauma can get stuck in the body, so utilizing yoga or exercising is incredibly beneficial for releasing that trauma and getting it out of your body. Not to mention, it's good for the mind and the body. Being out in the nature is also incredibly healing. Practicing mindfulness is so helpful. And last but not least, practicing self-love and self-care. We must transition our concern and priorities off of the narcissist and onto ourselves where it belongs. Acts of love and kindness that you give to yourself is so important. To this day, when I wake up every morning, I say to myself, what can I do today to make Jill happy and let her know she is loved and important? I do something nice for myself every single day. And it doesn't have to be something elaborate. It can be simple things. Some self-care things I do is buying myself flowers or going out and picking flowers for myself. I might get myself a piece of my favorite chocolate. I'm a big fan of bubble baths with lavender, snuggling on the couch with a good book, and my dog, reading poetry, cooking my favorite meal, taking a peaceful nap, going to get a facial or my nails done, journaling, leaving myself notes around the house that tell me I should be so proud and keep going and you're doing a great job. There are so many acts of self-care that you can do every single day that are incredibly helpful in breaking the cycle of ruminations and thinking or obsessing about the trauma. We have been through enough. The last thing we need to do is spend one more second focused on the narcissists. They stole enough of your life and happiness. Now it's your turn. Your turn to be solely focused on yourself and what makes you happy. Many times this is the first time in our lives we have put ourselves first. So it might feel a little awkward in the beginning, but with practice it will eventually become natural to you and it will become a necessary part of your daily routine. Okay, that's going to do it for today's video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Also, follow me on my other social media platforms. The links are in the description below. Thanks for watching, everyone.